Hi, thank you for joining me, Cynthia Ng. Now let me begin this episode of Vantage Point with a story of a backpacker. Now at 20 years old, he traveled across Asia and Africa, and during his journey, he has seen the many hardships faced by the bottom billion at those parts of the world, such as poverty, hunger, energy scarcity, and lack of connectivity, just to name a few. But having limited material resources drives the poor to optimize their mental resources, and often they come up with simple, extremely affordable but innovative ideas that solve problems unique to each of their communities. Now that is grassroots innovation, and my guest for today, the backpacker that's mentioned, has turned his passion in grassroots innovation to empower people and the marginalized communities in a larger scale. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Takuto Motomura. Thank you for being here. And you are also the founder and CEO of Granma Inc. in Japan. Now next to him here we have Mr. Muhammad Aziph, Dato Mustapha, who is working on a similar initiative in Malaysia through Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, whereby he is also the acting CEO. Now, thank you for making time.
Thank you so much,
Okay, I'd like to go straight to Takuto. You have an inspiring story. Tell us more about this.
Okay, my background is just a backpacker. As a backpacker, I travel more than like 38 countries actually, and the reason why I start traveling in the world, because I studied in the United States just only for 1 year, and during the study over there, I learned about the poverty. Actually, I got directly the definition of the poverty from the professor, but I couldn't make sense. I couldn't understand it, because that's more about he talking about the economical hardship or economical something, but I didn't think, or I didn't stand for that idea. So then I start traveling especially in the Asian countries, and finally I myself define that poverty, what the meaning of the poverty or definition of the poverty. Then my conclusion is the lack of the imagination, because if people, even the lower income level people, if they have the really great imagination, then they can start up their own business, or even develop their lives by themselves without anybody's help. So through the 38 countries, I realized that definition of the poverty. But they still need some support. If to develop or convert their idea into some product or system. So then I start my own company there within Granma. So today we are transfer the Japanese some technology like Panasonic or many huge company have a great technology. So I try to transfer the technology to the local say grassroots innovators. But there are many gaps. So we are now facing many hardship or difficulties. So by ourselves, we recently we directly work with the grassroots innovator, and because we have the designer, also engineer, also business developer, so we're gonna consult them also to in order to develop their kind of ideas also products. So that's gonna be much faster than we consulting to some Japanese company, because they are so slow. So that's why we decide by ourselves.
So basically what you do, you identify, you recognize that innovation, which is usually come from the simplest ideas out of necessity.
That's right, yeah.
And then you help them to commercialize these ideas in a larger scale. Okay, I believe that is what Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia is aspiring to do as well, realizing the potential of grassroots innovation. And last year, you traveled to Sabah, Sarawak and Malacca through this Jejak Inovasi program, whereby you go to the grassroots, to villages, to remote areas. Can you tell us more about this initiative?
Thanks, Cynthia. Jejak Inovasi is where we go, like you mentioned, from village to village to find innovations that actually happen in those places and to go to their doorstep. What we do here between me and Takuto, all of us stand on the shoulders of giants. And one of the giants we want to talk about is actually Professor Anil Gupta from the National Innovation Foundation.
Grassroots innovation.
Yeah, he's known as the guru or the father of grassroots innovations, because he's done such amazing work. And how we started on our innovation walk or Jejak Inovasi was that our minister, Dato Sri Paduka Maximus John Itiongkili, who's also our chairman at Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, visited Professor Anil, and he told him about the amazing things that he has seen in his biannual twice yearly trek across India. So when the minister came back, he talked to us and he said, we really need to do something like this in Malaysia, because in his mind there's a lot of innovations that happen in the grassroots in Malaysia. And true enough, through our we've done 4 so far, 3 last year and 1 this year, Jejak Inovasi, we have found such amazing and incredible things done by Malaysians at the grassroots level.
Okay, so what you're trying to do is you are more from the government perspective to help to promote and also to help these innovators at the grassroots level. But on your side, you are approaching companies to help these people. When you mentioned challenges earlier, what are some of the obstacles that you're facing in your passion to help empower these people?
Yeah, as the most difficult things is, that find out the marketability, how much, the huge market they have. Like say, in the marginal area of the India, they have a really great innovation, but I don't know, nobody knows how much, market.
It's worth.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, but first is to get people to recognize its worth as well.
That's
right.
Yeah. Right. Recognize that first, but also we have to share the knowledge, also even the innovation from each country. That's why, like, we recently organized the design competition in the 15 countries, especially in Asia. So we're going to share that idea, also creation of the designed by the grassroots innovators in the 15 countries. So we're going to share the idea, and also we would like to know how much recognition, also how much market that they're supposed to have. Okay,
from then, what are the next steps?
Next step is, first of all, let's gather the idea, and secondly, like we are going to evaluate each one of the grassroots innovation. Then later on, we are Japanese. Still, we have many idea, also technology and design. Ability, like say Sony or in the Panasonic, many designers working over there, but they would like to do something for social innovation, something for social dedication. But today they cannot do any work regarding the social innovation.
Why?
Because the Panasonic or whatever, they have to, first of all, focus on the profitability.
Right.
Obtain profit first, right? Then later on, maybe they have to think about this, for the social innovation things. But they always come first. The profit is coming first.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. But recently, if we dedicate to the society, then we can get or obtain some profit after all. You get my point. So, that's kind of the.
So it's more like building a sustainable business model that is appealing to these companies. And okay, we'll need to go for the first commercial break, but we'll be back very shortly. So stay with us.
തേങ്ങ എൻ്റെ തലയിൽ വീണപ്പോഴല്ലേ എനിക്ക് ആ ആശയം ഉദിച്ചത്. നാട്ടുകാരിപ്പോൾ എന്നെ സ്പൈഡർമാൻ എന്നാണ് വിളിക്കുന്നത്.
Well, that's a very good example of innovation, grassroots innovation. And I think what you guys are trying to do is to recognize, firstly, to recognize innovation, and next is to add value to it so that you can market the product. But I think my question to you is, how is it possible to find a good synergy, like finding a good marriage between the grassroots innovators and commercial?
Right. If I may, the first step really is to identify, like you said. Sometimes it's difficult for us to see because it's right in front of our eyes. Because from what I've learned in 2 years in Yayasan Inovasi is that everywhere we go, every door we open, there's so much innovation and creativity back there. So the first key step is to actually identify and recognize and celebrate them. It's very important that we show the whole community that there are innovators among us, and the innovation is not something that is alien, and anyone can do it. So once you identify that, then it's not very difficult to marry them, and it's a matter of making them visible. So when people can see these are the things happening at the grassroots level, and people in the research houses, in the research institutions, in the companies can say, hey, I can add value to that, and they can add value to me.
Right. But this is my opinion, okay? It's not based on statistics or facts, but based on my observation, if you talk about culture, Malaysians seems to lack faith and to be innovate within our community, and we lack conviction that our ideas actually worth much more. I believe Japanese is a nation of innovation. It's ingrained in your culture, but I would like to know how we can inculcate this culture in Malaysia. But I would like to go to Takuto first. How do Japanese do it?
For the
Innovation, yes.
If like talk about in Japan, what's going on in Japan, it's today more innovation happening in the marginal area, because they're not like in Tokyo, not in Osaka. That's a really huge city, but out of those huge city, people more have the passion. If the people have the passion, then maybe easily come up with the idea to innovate that say community or even the like small town, because that is everything like belong to the people's passion. So like say if like look at the Honda or Panasonic, like Mr. Matsushita, they always like easily find out the people's needs first. Then next step, they try to design the reason why they have to change the society or satisfy those needs. Because that after they can provide some solution to the community, then the community also town getting much better, they can hold a better life. So that should be the origin of the innovation. So but in Tokyo and Osaka, those big cities, that the lives is so advanced. I don't think people really need that really advanced level of the technology. Of course, some of them really need it, but if like
the masses.
Yeah, that's right.
Perhaps I'll say there was this quote by Gupta that he said like challenge is the mother of innovation, and perhaps because where we are in the city area, we are just comfortable with technology, and therefore there is a lack of innovation. Now. Yeah,
well, it's really how you define innovation. We like to talk about inclusive innovation, because some people talk innovation is only these things that happen in research houses,
yes,
in labs.
like scientists, labs,
people wearing white coats can
and
be
very
innovative.
top down.
Yeah, people with big hair, can only be innovative. But we say that anyone, and when we define innovation as all inclusive, so if you improve the way that you tap rubber, or you improve the way that you make this dish for your family and for your community, we consider that innovation. We want to document that, and we want to record that so that future generations can see that all of this innovation is happening. But it's right that you say that the perception is Malaysia is not an innovation hotbed, or is not an innovation culture.
Because my guess, because that is why there is less patent being developed in Malaysia.
That's one measure. But Professor Anil Gupta also said minds on the margins are not marginal minds. So you cannot discount people in the rural areas. They have a lot of innovations, but if you measure by patents filed and commercial value, then maybe that's different. So he also, you mentioned the bottom billion or the B40, the bottom 40 of the pyramid, or bottom of the pyramid.
That's right.
He also contends that we shouldn't call them the bottom of the pyramid, because these are the guys with the most values, probably more strong ethically, have more family values, take care of the kids better than those in the top 1% perhaps. So we shouldn't call them bottom of the pyramid, we should call them top of the pyramid, and we should invert that pyramid. So what we're doing in Yayasan Inovasi and MOSTI, the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, is that we would like to recognize that innovation happens everywhere, and that we want to record that, archive that, make sure that this material is ready for those in the research institutions, in the public research institutions, in the universities, in the companies, so that they can have access to what people are doing on the ground.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
We talk about, inculcating culture, and where do we begin? Do we begin at perhaps in the workforce, whereby there are tons of problems to solve, or should we start right at with the young minds, children?
Well, in Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, our mandate is to inculcate the culture of creativity at all levels of society, and this year we're doing that in several strata. The first is children. We have a program called Kids Invent for children between 7 and 12. The government has asked us to put 5,000 primary school children across the country through this program. And what it teaches them is that how to build toys. They love toys. Kids love toys. So let's have a workshop. We teach you how to build these toys, and you can play with these toys, but at the same time we're teaching you so many principles of science, mathematics, project management, time management. All of this is happening in one day. So that is one step to inculcate that culture of creativity and innovation at a very young age. And of course, we believe that it has to happen at a very young age. At the same time, we're doing Jejak Inovasi. We're going to the villages and we're going across the country. 15 stops this year. We just completed Temerloh Pahang. We're going to Kuala Terengganu on the 6th, 7th and 8th of April. And we're going to cover every state in this country. And that is at the community level. At the high end, we also have KL World Innovation Forum this year. We've organized twice, which he will be participating in, and hopefully Granma, through this regional 15-country design competition, grassroots design competition, we're going to have a special session on that during KL World Innovation Forum in November.
Okay, so Takuto, tell me about this design through innovation. What is this about?
Oh, design to the innovation?
Yes.
Or design competition things?
Yes.
Okay, so as I told you at the beginning, so we have to gather the idea first. Then after all, we have to add the value on each one of the innovation. Then later on, we have to find out the marketability. How much market they should have. So, and also we have to get more Japanese designer and engineer involved in that grassroots innovation. So, actually, that's how we can try to do and proceed that design to the innovation or design competition is really easy, because in Japan there are billions or more than that. We have the money, also we have the potential power or human resource. So we like to convert that people, like general people, into the investor, like micro investors. If we can gather it's 100,000 people at some exhibition or some event. We are going to hold the exhibition the next year between May and June. So we're gonna maybe gather more than 100,000 people, and they're gonna pay for the $10 for them to observe or see, touch that grassroots innovation from the 15 countries. So we have to select really more innovative grassroots innovation from 15 countries, and at least 100 grassroots innovation we're gonna gather for the exhibition. So we're gonna call that, invite 100,000 people, then they're gonna pay for that, and where that is $10 is going. So those $10 mixed up the that $10 times $1,000.
So is this an idea? I mean, it's a model of social entrepreneurship.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So then we're gonna collect the money. Then we like to spend the money for the adding value, also
further promote
innovation. That's right.
Okay. All right. We have to go for the next commercial break, but we'll be back very shortly. Welcome back. Well, earlier you saw a video of a grassroots innovator in India, but now let's take a look at a video of our local grassroots innovator at Johor. Have a look. Now, this is one of the many local grassroots innovations.
Hundreds. In the 2 years that I've been here in Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia and MOSTI, we've met literally hundreds of creative, innovative people that are so inspiring. So my job really is just uplift the profile of these people and tell the rest of Malaysia or rest of the world that Malaysians are in fact creative and innovative.
Bunch.
Yeah, we are. So
That's right.
our job is to help people like Wak Wagiman, who makes these machines, or Pak Angah Jais in Pahang, or Philippus Jani in Sabah. All these people have incredible machines, and they've touched us at Yayasan Inovasi, touched me personally so much. This past 2 years has been such an incredible experience for me personally, because I've had the ability to interact and talk and hear these people's stories. It's just amazing.
Okay, Takuto, I mean, what are some of the great examples of grassroots innovation that you have come across that you see it could be potentially something really big?
Okay, that's we got it in the southern part of the India. We found out the one that's name is Koto machine. As it provide the so how can I say, that's clean napkin for the women.
Okay.
It's okay, the napkin. So actually, like PNG, or really huge company, provide a 6 rupee, almost like say 6 cent or 5 cent for per each napkin. The people cannot afford to buy it. But that made by that machine, they can provide around 3 or 2 cent each. And also they put, even the local people can handle with making the napkin by themselves in even the marginal area. If we can transfer that technology, and that machine, the cost of the machine is less than maybe $20 or $30. If people get to know how to make it, it's really simple mechanism how to build. So that's going to be like really huge.
So far, have you seen results of the effort that you're doing? Has the I would say the benefits of what you're doing reached the masses, and has it helped improve their lives, the community?
Actually, yeah, not yet actually.
Okay.
But,
so what is the problem? What can be done more?
Because
to expedite.
Expedite actually 2 things. One is that develop. I mean, how can I say, reinvest. Even like $1,000, $2,000, really cheap. The cost to reinvest, because they need to not only add value, but also some point they still need to polish up. And also the second thing is, as I told you, the marketability.
Yes.
Where the people really need the machine, or that's the say the napkin.
At the end of the day, we need the money to come in. We need,
that's right.
We need private sector to come in. And
that's right, yeah.
My point is, how can we build a sustainable business model in regards to grassroots innovation? Yes.
Well, it's really back to social enterprise that we alluded to before, where people do business to reinvest in the community and invest in the society. That has to happen more in Malaysia. Also, the government is already recognizing that innovation is something that we need to support. And as evidence, Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia itself was formed by the government to do exactly this. So in terms of matching between the private sector and the public sector, it's also something that we need to work on. And KL World Innovation Forum, for example, is one of the platforms that we are having to bridge this gap between grassroots innovators and the corporates.
Tell me more about your involvement with this next KL Innovation Forum that's coming up.
Actually, yeah, we would like to, the purpose and objective to join that next World Innovation Forum. It's okay. So let's share the idea. Also, connect the key person in each area to not only Aziph, but his partners also in Malaysia. Also, we're going to bring some scholars. Also, there's some key person from Japan. So we have to get together in order to share, also as well as maybe discuss how to evaluate, how to expand that, the potential of the grassroots innovation. Because there's not so many, event to talk about, focus on the grassroots innovation. So that's a really great opportunity for not only me, but the others. So.
Can we talk about, you mentioned earlier about the bottom billion. We should not be calling them bottom billion, but in Asia, where people see the emerging market this is where the opportunity for grassroots innovation to grow as well. What do you think?
Of course, there must be a commercial value to it. There must be something to incentivize people to invest in here because of such the vast market in Asia and in this group of people. This is why corporates are interested, and people like Takuto can make a business out of it, actually, to consult with these corporates and to see what, to actually interact with these people at the grassroots and what they need from the corporates. So yeah, my view is that definitely it's something, you don't really need to do it for your goodness of your heart, Really, there's definitely a dollar bottom line value to it, which is my message to the corporates in Malaysia, actually.
And also to young entrepreneurs who now view that social entrepreneurship is an emerging trend and is something that could be sustainable and in the long run.
Of course, but Takuto here is the poster boy for this sort of work. He's the Superman.
Right.
So personally he is an inspiration because he went out to do something that he's passionate about,
Right.
and in the same way he's helping people along the way, and so that's just amazing to me.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again this coming November and maybe before that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again on the next episode of Vantage Point. Goodbye.